Sand snakes down! We've got sand snakes down!
Only 2 though. Hi everyone, I'm Sandrine. Kenny's back for a new Game of Thrones review. This week's episode was Stormborn. Let's talk about it.
There was a lot of storms happening in this episode.
Was there?
Well, at the very beginning, we opened on a storm,
That's
so
true.
it was appropriate. Yeah.
Before we jump into characters and places, I just wanted to have more of a general comment about how awesome it is to see all these connections of different characters from the show. There suddenly you have Tyrion hearing about Jon being king in the north. Then you have, Sam meeting Jorah, and he's like, oh my God, you're like, I knew your father. Every time I'm like, oh my God, they're starting to know each other.
Well, it's basically the people that are still alive, so they kind of have to know each other. We're whittling them down, so it's...
But now they're also getting closer, physically, because before Daenerys was so far, so now, but now it's all kind of coming. So a lot happened.
Yes.
So first, I want to talk about Arya.
Oh,
there are 2 main things that happen with Arya. There's the hot pie meetup. Hot pie!
Hot pie!
And I love the comment about I didn't do that with my pies.
Right.
I feel like taste wasn't a big deal.
Do you bake much, Ari?
Yeah.
A bit. Just
I dabble.
I dabble. I dabble.
I don't know if you want to talk also about her demeanor a little bit, or how she acted. She's a little colder, I think.
Yeah, it was interesting. You could immediately tell she was still kind of this standoffish, and hot pie was still hot pie. He was still saying hot pie-ish things, and she was very erect, she's very straight, and it's and distant. She kept her distance definitely, but oh, the Jon Snow reveal. Just to see her face. That was so good. Just and kudos to the show actually for this, because there's so many times that you'll be like, just tell her, hot pie, just tell her the news. And he won't tell her, and then she'll leave, and then he'll say something afterwards. Oh, I wonder if I should have mentioned that Jon Snow, her bastard brother, is now king in the north. Oh no. Oh, the pies are done.
The pies are done. And then the second big moment was Nymeria, which was kind of spoiled in the preview, which I wish they had kind of kept.
Right?
Because there was no need to show us. We would have watched the show anyway.
It was kind of muted by the fact that we kind of knew it was coming. Although the wolf that they showed in the preview was not Nymeria. And Nymeria did look closer to actual long nose. She's a very long nose.
She was huge.
No offense, Nymeria, your nose is long. I'm not suggesting you get a nose job or anything. She looks fine with her nose. I'm not,
You want to talk about that last line that Arya says to her?
Oh,
that's not you.
Yes. That was a direct callback to season 1. And I said it immediately. I was like,
Kenny was like, oh, I know what this is. I know what this is. Which I was like, how do you even remember this?
No, because Ned had her on the stairs, and he said, you're going to be the lady of you're going to marry a lord. You're going to be the lady of a castle. And Arya said, no, that's not me. And so she recognized the Arya-ish traits in her wolf. Ex-wolf, but it makes me wonder, will we see, is this Nymeria's only appearance?
I think it's almost, I kind of hope that it's almost like the show being like, I know we killed a lot of direwolves, but at least this one will survive. Because Ghost is still around, but he's going to be involved in, probably the fights with Jon Snow and all of that. But at least we know Nymeria will survive.
Ghost is around. We
haven't seen
Ghost?
Him. No, we haven't. Moving on to King's Landing. It's interesting because she's using kind of a fear tactic to rally the troops. Like, Daenerys, she's the daughter of the Mad King. She will kill you all. She, crucified all the noblemen and Slaver's Babe. There's context to that, I feel like. You're kind of forgetting the context.
It was almost like, though, she was speaking a speech that was meant for 200 people to a crowd of 10, though.
That's true, there weren't that many people.
The remaining nobles that are still alive and willing to come and listen to Cersei. I mean, how many invites did she send out? And how many were like, I think I'm not going to go. She has a tendency to blow people up.
Yes, that's true.
And the story of that is apparently getting out. I thought, that would be just the big mystery. I thought she would blame the explosion on terrorists or something,
true.
Blame it on the sand snakes or Dorne or something, and then...
No, she's like, no, I blew them up.
It's me. You know, everyone's like, oh, it was Cersei. She totally blew everyone up. And Jaime doing sort of his own spin on it to sort of bring Randall Tarly in. I think Randall was kind of on the fence until the end, and Jaime's like, Warden of the South, that would suit you, wouldn't it, Lord Tarly? And Lord Tarly's thinking, I think it would.
I think it would.
Actually. So yeah, I think that dude's gone over.
But I think what I'm most worried about is Qyburn. Because when Qyburn puts its mind to, like, how can we defeat a dragon? I feel like we're in big trouble.
Giant crossbows is how.
Yeah.
Just punch through the skull. Why not? Let's just use this ancient decorative, I guess it's decorative
I know,
skull.
I was like, hey, that's been there for a while.
Yeah.
I feel like respect
the bones, man.
The fact that they're showing us this scene, the fact that it's Qyburn who also helped Cersei with her plan of blowing up the Sept.
Yeah, that may be foreshadowing.
Kill a dragon by the end of the season. I mean, we did think one of them was going to die by the end of the season, so you thought so too, right?
Yeah. Yes, I predicted one dragon would die, but I'm hoping it's not to a crossbow bolt.
And then we go to Oldtown, meeting Sam and Jorah, who's not looking really good.
No, he's not looking great. But this is the buddy comedy.
His face is saved.
That's
the
true.
Body is like kind of messed up.
Poor actors like, not the face!
Not the face!
Not the face! But this is the buddy comedy that we never knew we wanted, and now we're hopefully going to get.
See, different characters connecting. You never thought Sam would meet Jorah, but...
What's going on with the weird, gross transitions of Sam this year?
What? It was like... the poo and the food, and now it's grayscale and the food.
What?
Why?
Do you guys hate food? Like, do you just not want us to eat while we're watching this show?
Do you think he's going to be able to cure Jorah?
I think he will definitely make headway curing Jorah. Will he successfully cure him? I don't know.
Or at least stop the grayscale from
advancing, possibly. Yeah, I don't know if there's a cure, but we'll see.
That was a painful way to do it. Like, I love how he's like, shh, just stop. It's like, you're kind of ripping my skin though, dude.
Yes. Let's see if you scream if someone takes a knife and just starts peeling your skin off of you.
And now we move on to Dragonstone. Ooh. Lots and lots and lots of things happen there. There's first Daenerys questioning Varys' loyalties.
Yes.
Love that scene so much.
And Emilia, some people have in the past sort of commented negatively on her range, but she has grown. For me, she has seriously grown as an actress.
Yeah.
And that the look that she gave him was not quite the 1,000-yard stare she used to give people, but it's sort of now I mean, I felt in the moment that was excellent. I was very impressed, and Varys was impressed too, I think.
Yeah, he had a good answer to it. Like, I'm not just gonna blindly follow you. That's just who I am. If you can't deal with that, kill me. Which is like hoping
in the back of his mind.
Like, hopefully,
don't take B. Go with A.
Go with A. Yeah. How much better can you get from like, I don't have to love you. I choose to love you. I choose to follow you, right? And then we have the meeting with Melisandre. We also talked about the prophecy, which I think it's interesting that they're bringing this up again now because they're kind of setting up the ground. Because whenever this show, you think it's like not a big deal. Like they were setting up the whole Lyanna Rhaegar storyline, and it was like just briefly mentioned, and then we're like, what? And then now they're once again bringing this whole, the prince who was promised can bring the dawn, and then I love how Missandei is like, well, technically, it could be like prince or princess.
Prince or princess. You raised an interesting point after that was about. Now, this is kind of book knowledge, but there's a Valancourt prophecy from the books where it talks about, there's this prophecy, spoilers, brief spoilers, book spoilers, how that Cersei is going to meet her doom at the hands of the Valancourt, which in High Valyrian translates to little brother. And some people have posited that means Tyrion is going to be her doom. Other people have said, oh, maybe Jaime will be her doom. But if Valancourt is genderless, then who knows? It could be the little sister. And then that could be Arya, that could be Daenerys, that could be all sorts of people.
Yeah.
But, that's Valancourt. They haven't really brought that into the series yet. We don't know if they will. But I thought it was interesting, and you brought it up, and I was like, oh, yeah, that's cool.
And then, of course, you have the mention of Jon, and then there's another connection where Tyrion's like, oh, Jon Snow. I know Jon Snow. He's actually really cool. Yeah. And then we have the scene where the Yara, Ellaria, Olenna and Daenerys are all plotting to kind of conquer Westeros together, which I didn't realize until later. It's like all female.
Right.
Deciding kind of like how are we going to do this, which was kind of cool.
And Tyrion standing there going...
He actually kind of confirmed what you suspected about the invasion of Casterly Rock by the Unsullied, because we saw in the trailer that they will invade Casterly Rock, and you said probably Tyrion give him information about how to enter the castle.
Because Tyrion knows he was put in charge of basically the plumbing, so he knows how that works, the sluice ways and the gutters, and I'm sure he woke up in a few gutters, so he knows all that stuff.
What do you think about what Olenna said to Daenerys about not listening to what Tyrion has to say? Like, do you agree with her? Do you disagree, or kind of like in between?
I disagree with her. I think Tyrion is an excellent source of knowledge for her, as is Varys. Listen to everyone. If there's one side that says don't listen to the other side, well, listen to all sides. And I think she's going to do that. Now, will she take Olenna's suggestion of being a dragon? She probably will. Yeah. We're going to be seeing dragon fire at some point, ladies and gentlemen. So Olenna's very smart. She's crafty. But Olenna, you have to put yourself in her shoes. She's lost a lot.
That's true.
She lost Marjorie, who was essentially, the love of her life.
Yeah.
I mean, she loved Marjorie.
Yeah.
Mace Tyrell, even though, not now Mace. He was kind of a
son,
bumbling,
right?
but he's her son, right?
Yeah.
So she's lost an awful lot. There's some anger going on there with her, as well as with Ellaria Sand. So you have to take all of that with a grain of salt. And I believe Dany is doing that.
Biggest asset for Dany has been the fact that she will listen and take a little bit of advice from everybody. She won't just kind of go like everything that Tyrion says, everything that this person says. It's kind of like, what do you think? What do you think? All right, I'll kind of, and then I'll take what I think and I'll mix it up. Yeah,
and just like that. Sometimes she just follows her own heart, and she has all the makings, I think, of an excellent leader. We'll see. Yeah. We'll see how it plays out, because I think the show's still going to throw some curveballs at us. But this is not going to. I mean, it's sort of setting up to be this great Dany victory, but
it's too good.
It's too perfect. It's not going to work. This is Game of Thrones.
That's true.
Bad shit's gonna happen, people.
Yep. Speaking of that shit happening, can we talk about the Missandei and Grey Worm scene? Because we've been waiting, obviously, for that scene to happen, and we're like, oh, they're finally are together, they're happy. But then I'm like, he's gonna die. This is the end of Grey Worm. Like, the whole time I'm thinking, this is it. He's too happy.
He's too happy.
We know in the show, once you have sex or once you're just too happy, what comes next is really you're out. And I think that's one of, like, when we did our video about who will die this season, that's definitely where, like, Grey Worm is going to die. And then it looks like in one of the pictures, Missandei was wearing his pin, or at least a pin similar to a pin that he was wearing. Right. And she hasn't been wearing any. No.
We may find out, however, next week. Because even if he does not die next week, if she's already wearing his pin, then he gave it to her as kind of a farewell gift.
Yes, that's true. Fine. That's true. That's fine. So I'm kind of hoping every time I'm like, does she wear the pin? Does she have the pin?
Speaking of their love scene, I think this thing has to be said, and it's the same thing that all of you are thinking and perhaps unwilling to ask. Why didn't they close the door? There's a door that's wide open the entire time. I'm thinking, who has sex while the door's wide? You go to the door and you close the door. That's what you were thinking, right?
Yeah, definitely. Moving on to Winterfell. So Jon Snow receives the letter from Tyrion with like a note like, "Hey, it's really me.
It's really
me,
right?
What we talked about."
that was good. I like. Again, this is the show that is it's using the character's intelligence the way it was meant to be used, and that's do that.
I think what's really interesting about the whole, like, Jon, which is different from everybody else, different from Cersei, different from even Daenerys, is that he has seen the Night's King. And for him, he's like, I mean, yeah, great. Okay, I'm getting north, but I don't really care about any of this because I've seen the Night King raise the dead. And if you had seen what I had seen,
you'd be getting dragons.
You'd be like,
can I have dragons? Good. Let me go get the dragons.
You'd be like, dragon glass. I think my favorite scene, though, is the scene where he says that, you know, despite everybody kind of being against him, even Lyanna Mormont.
Yes.
She's even like,
right?
I'm usually with you, man, but this one, no.
Although, part of me thinks Lyanna's kind of like, no, don't leave, Jon.
Oh, don't leave.
I want you with me.
Aww.
What do you think, huh?
She's coming
Teen
out.
crush? A little bit of crush?
I love how Sansa's like, you can't leave. How, you know, you have to be in charge. And he's like, well, I'm leaving them in charge with you. And she's like, oh. Well, okay, then go.
Well, all right, then.
Well, all right, then.
Well, then off with you. As long as I'm in charge, who cares?
Yeah, but I did think it was like such a great moment because you see like kind of Sansa's... I don't know if she was just kind of like, okay, well, you can go, but I think she was just kind of shocked in a way because I don't think she thought anybody would like put her in charge.
Put her in charge.
I think she honestly thought if he left, he would put someone else in charge, like another man or something else. And she's just like, wait, like you trust me to be in charge, like of like the North? I think there's been a lot of speculations about whether or not she was going to betray him or not, and I think this to me is like giving him huge points for her. Like, oh my God,
it does.
It's gonna cements a little bit of that. I'm not going to betray you.
Maybe.
Oh, come on.
I don't want to break your heart, okay? No. I don't. But
I want to believe that she will not betray him.
I'm a fan of history, as is George R.R. Martin, who wrote these books. And one of the things he based the books on was the War of the Roses. And one of the themes of the War of the Roses was one person would leave one of their relatives in charge of something, trusting them, and go off somewhere, only to have that person they left in charge basically betray them and take over everything. It's a very basic theme that happens over and over again, and we haven't quite seen that yet in Game of Thrones. So
to be fair, though, does Jon really care if she takes over? At the end of the day, he's like, to be fair, I really don't care.
I don't care.
I really just care about getting dragon glass.
Go ahead. Yeah, be queen of the North.
Yeah, be queen of the North. Yeah. He might actually let her be queen of the North if she wants to be. Like, he'd be like, oh, okay.
Littlefinger
gets choked. What I was going to say.
Littlefinger gets choked out again. We're like, yeah, Littlefinger, get choked out again.
Don't you touch my sister.
Oh, man. And, you know, the Jonza shippers are going to be like, oh, he's super protective of Sansa. He doesn't want anyone with Sansa other than himself.
No.
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
I'm not shipping that, but you know, some people are, and they're like, oh, jealous much, Jon?
I feel like that's just a normal brother thing.
That's true.
I am kind of worried about Littlefinger, because right now he's kind of hanging out over there, but every time I'm like, what is he plotting, though? What is he doing?
He's doing nothing, which makes me think he's doing all sorts of things.
He's definitely doing something. And then we end with that ship battle, which was more of like a boarding.
It wasn't,
shipboarding battle.
Just Euron riding that thing all the way down, like, woo! He killed 2 sand snakes,
just 2, though. I was like, just kill all 3. Let's just get rid of it. Let's just be done with it.
Did you want him to get all 3, though, or did you just want 3 to die?
Oh, just 3 to die.
Just 3 to die. It doesn't have to be him.
No, it doesn't have to be him. They just need to die and be done with it. And then move on. I mean, I don't mind Ellaria. Of all of them, I'm like, Ellaria can stick around. But like, I just feel like it's just a waste of time. Like, we don't have time to waste on them. And I feel like they kept one of them. I'm just like, that scene when Euron has Yara. I mean, we knew he was going to take Yara and Ellaria. I did not know he was going to take, what's the other girl's name? The sand snake that survived.
Oh, the youngest snake.
It's not Obara.
Baby snake. We'll call her Baby Snake.
Baby Snake. Yara and Ellaria and Baby Snake will be the gifts that he will give to Cersei. Cersei probably won't care about Yara, to be honest. That scene between when he's having Yara and then he's asking Theon to come, and she's just like, you can see how like heartbroken she is that he's once again not coming with her. Like, you know, it's kind of like flashback to when she went to get him, and a lot of men that she brought with her died, and he betrayed her. It's like another for her betrayal. But in defense of Theon, what was he gonna do?
What's he expected to do? First of all, Euron's got an axe to her throat. I was thinking, let me rush him. No, because that's gonna get her throat cut.
And like, even if he gets there, he will die.
She should have been glad he was jumping overboard.
Yeah, I thought she was gonna tell him to jump.
Right.
I thought she was gonna be like,
get out of
here! Get out! Yeah.
Run,
like,
Theon!
Run. But just like jump, like save the line, like go get help. Maybe try to rescue me. I don't know. But yeah.
Although usually in a pitched sea battle, it's usually not considered wise to jump overboard.
That's true.
But
that's true.
Where was that fire coming from, by the way? Was there...
That's your big question. Right?
That is my big question. It's like we see fireballs and no catapults. It's
from afar.
It's generally unwise to carry fire on a ship and then throw fire because it's ships are flammable.
Yeah. So that's how we end. Theon floating. away.
Floating away.
The ship's like totally wrecked. So that whole plan of like surrounding King's Landing is gone.
Yeah,
they did not expect Euron to be.
They didn't take Olenna. I guess they didn't take Olenna with her. They split up.
Probably not.
No.
Those were all our thoughts for the second episode. But of course, we'd love to hear what you thought of this episode. Are you freaking out about Sansa being in charge? Were you excited to see Nymeria?
Is she coming back?
Let us know in the comments. Also, make sure you check out our breakdown for the third episode that Kenny will be doing with Americ. Put the link in the description. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't yet so you don't miss any of our upcoming reviews.
Why would they not have subscribed?
They forget sometimes. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you soon.
Bye.
Let's kill all of them. Let's get rid of it. When will they die? I want them to die.
Why won't they die?
Why won't they die?
Why won't they all just die?